Long ago, nestled deep within a quiet valley, lived a lonely couple. They possessed a warm and comfortable home, yet a profound silence echoed through every empty room. Their greatest unspoken wish was for a child of their own to fill their lives with joy. From the back window of their quiet cottage, they could see a secret walled garden that no villager ever dared to enter. High, impenetrable stone walls surrounded the grounds, for the land belonged to a formidable and powerful witch. One fateful afternoon, the wife gazed out the window and saw a bed of green rampion growing in the witch's garden. The leaves looked as fresh and brilliant as bright emerald gems. Suddenly, an intense, strange hunger washed over her. "I must eat those green leaves," she whispered to her husband, her voice trembling, "or I fear I will surely die." Within days, she grew dangerously pale and weak, wilting like a delicate flower deprived of the golden sun. Her husband, terrified of losing his beloved wife, promised to fetch the forbidden green leaves for her no matter the cost. When the deep purple twilight fell, he scaled the high, cold stone wall and dropped into the witch's garden. He hurriedly gathered a handful of the lush rampion and fled back to the safety of their home. The wife devoured the vivid green salad, and almost immediately a healthy, radiant color returned to her soft cheeks. But the next day, her craving returned, 3 times stronger than before. "I must have more," she pleaded. Desperate, the husband climbed over the high wall once more. However, as his boots met the soft earth, a towering shadow rose up to block the moonlight. "You dare steal my precious herbs?" the witch hissed, her eyes gleaming with malice. "You act as a thief in the night." "Have mercy," the husband begged, falling to his knees. "My wife is gravely ill. She will perish without this plant." The witch smiled, a cold, calculating expression. "I will let you take all the herbs you wish, but in return, I will take the child your wife bears to my tower. I will keep her safe and teach her everything I know." Terrified and entirely helpless, the man agreed to the cruel demand. When a beautiful baby girl was eventually born, the witch appeared instantly to claim her stolen prize. She named the child Rapunzel and carried her far away, deep into the uncharted dark woods. As the years passed, Rapunzel grew into the most beautiful woman to ever walk beneath the golden sun. She was striking and elegant, possessing a mature, regal grace. Her hair was her most captivating feature. Like spun gold, it shone brilliantly and grew endlessly. When Rapunzel blossomed into a young woman, the witch locked her inside a remarkably high stone tower hidden deep in a green glade. The ancient tower had no stairs and no door. Its only opening was a small window at the very top. Whenever the witch wished to visit, she would stand at the base of the tower and call out into the quiet forest, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair to me." Hearing the command, Rapunzel would unfasten her thick braids and let her heavy golden hair tumble down to the earth. The golden silk fell 20 ells down, and the witch would climb it exactly like a ladder. For many years, this isolated existence was Rapunzel's entire life. She saw no one but the cruel witch. To comfort her sad, lonely heart, Rapunzel sang to the visiting birds and the drifting clouds. Her voice was incredibly sweet and sophisticated, floating through the dark forest like a lovely, haunting dream. One bright morning, a handsome and noble young prince was riding through the dense woods when he caught the sound of a mesmerizing melody. He halted his horse, captivated. He rode toward the beautiful sound and soon discovered the tall stone tower standing alone in the glade. He circled the structure, searching for a door, but found nothing but solid stone. He rode back to his castle with a heavy heart, yet the elegant song had touched his soul so deeply that he found himself returning to the hidden glade every single day. One afternoon, hidden behind the brush, he watched the old witch approach the tower. He listened as she called out loudly, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair." He watched in amazement as the shimmering golden cascade fell from the window, realizing this was the secret to reaching the star of his affections. The following evening, after the witch had departed, the prince stepped to the base of the tower and called out, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair." High above, Rapunzel was startled. The voice was deep and unfamiliar, yet hoping it was a message from the outside world, she let her golden hair fall to the ground. The prince climbed the silken ladder, his heart beating fast and loud. When he pulled himself into the room, Rapunzel gasped in fear, for she had never seen a man before. "Do not be afraid," the prince stepped forward with mature, respectful grace. "Your song touched my heart so profoundly, I simply had to see the woman who possessed such a voice." His kind, gentle words melted her fear. She saw that he was an elegant and kind-hearted gentleman. They spoke for hours as the moon rose high, completely losing track of time. He told her of the vast world outside, of galloping horses, bustling cities, and sweeping oceans. In turn, she shared her beautiful paintings and the habits of the small birds that visited her stone ledge. "Will you be my wife and leave this lonely tower?" the prince finally asked, taking her hands in his. "Yes," Rapunzel smiled warmly, "but I cannot get down. I have no ladder to reach the ground. Bring me a skein of silk each time you come, and I will weave one." So a secret routine began. The prince came every evening, bringing brilliant silk of bright blue and shiny silver. By day, Rapunzel hid the silk from the witch and wove a strong, light ladder, dreaming of her newfound freedom. The prince brought news of his kingdom, and Rapunzel taught him her lovely songs. Their love grew steadily, like the green vines clinging to the tower walls, incredibly strong and infinitely deep. Summer faded into autumn, and the magnificent silk ladder was nearly finished. But secrets are difficult burdens to bear, and a slip of the tongue is a dangerous thing. One afternoon, lost in thought, Rapunzel spoke without thinking to the old witch. "Tell me, mother, why are you so much heavier to pull up than the young prince?" The witch's face contorted with wicked fury. "You wicked child, I thought I had hidden you from the world, but you have betrayed me." In a fit of ruthless rage, the witch seized a pair of sharp, cold shears. Snip, snap. She severed Rapunzel's magnificent golden hair. The beautiful braids fell to the stone floor, lying lifeless like a pile of cut grass. Mercilessly, the witch dragged Rapunzel from her home, banishing the elegant young woman to a harsh, desolate wasteland. Rapunzel was left entirely alone, with nothing but her tears and the biting winter wind. Back at the tower, the witch set a cruel trap. When evening fell, the prince rode to the glade, his heart brimming with joy. "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair," he called. The witch fastened the severed golden braids to the window hook and let them fall. The prince climbed up the silken ladder, his heart full of bright expectation for his beautiful bride. But as he climbed through the window, he was met not with his love, but the terrifying sneer of the witch. "Aha!" she cackled. "You dare steal her? The beautiful bird has flown the nest, and the cat is here to scratch out your eyes. Rapunzel is lost to you forever." Overcome with sudden, profound grief and horror, the prince stumbled backward and fell from the high stone window. He plummeted into the sharp, dark briars that grew at the base of the tower. Though the thorns broke his fall and saved his life, they pierced his eyes, blinding him instantly. He rose up in agony, but his world was entirely black. He called out her name, but met only silence. Blind and broken-hearted, the prince wandered aimlessly into the deep, dark forest. Seasons changed. Snow fell, melted, and fell again, while the prince walked in total darkness. He survived on roots and wild berries, weeping daily for the loss of his dear, intelligent, and kind wife. Meanwhile, Rapunzel had adapted to the harsh wasteland with remarkable strength. From nothing, she forged a life. In the bitter cold of winter, she gave birth to twins, a brave boy and a beautiful girl. She raised them with boundless love, filling their evenings with grand stories of their noble, courageous father. Years passed. The prince wandered ceaselessly, guided only by the wind, his heart insisting that his true love was still alive. One afternoon, his wandering led him near the very edge of the rocky wasteland. Carried on the breeze was a familiar, breathtaking melody. He stopped dead in his tracks, holding his breath. It was the exact song from the tower. He felt it resonate deep within his soul. He stumbled blindly toward the beautiful sound, his voice breaking. "Rapunzel, are you there?" Rapunzel heard the desperate cry and looked up from her hard work. She saw him, ragged, weary, and blind, stumbling over the sharp gray stones. With a cry of absolute joy, she ran to him, moving lighter than the desert wind. She threw her arms tightly around his neck, weeping tears of pure relief and deep sorrow. "Rapunzel," he cried, holding her tight, "I never thought I would see you again. I cannot see your face, my love, but I can feel your heart beating against mine." As they embraced, two of Rapunzel's warm tears fell upon his scarred eyes, shining bright as silver starlight. Instantly, a golden, radiant magic washed over him. The darkness shattered, and his sight was perfectly restored. "Rapunzel," he gasped, looking upon her face for the first time in years. "I can see you. You are as beautiful and graceful as the day we first met." He then saw his children, the radiant twins, who came running to meet the father they had only known through stories. The prince knelt and embraced them all. His broken heart was finally whole and blissfully happy again. "Let us go home," the prince smiled. "This wasteland is no place for our family." They began the long, joyful journey back, leaving the gray, cold stones of the wasteland behind them forever. As they walked, even the dense forest seemed to welcome them with open arms. They camped beneath the stars, and Rapunzel taught her children the names of the constellations, while the prince promised them a kingdom where they would be safe and cherished. After many days, they reached the borders of the prince's magnificent kingdom. When the people saw their lost prince returning, they cheered with tremendous echoing joy. The old king and queen wept
openly to see their dear son alive and completely healed. They welcomed Rapunzel not just as a queen, but as a beloved daughter, and embraced the twins as their very own. A spectacular, lavish feast was held to celebrate the return of light and the triumph of true love. Rapunzel stood tall and elegant, wearing a gown of royal purple and a shining diamond crown. Yet she remained deeply grounded, never forgetting the high tower and the hard lessons of her lonely years. "What are you thinking of, my love?" the prince asked her during the celebration. "I am thinking," Rapunzel smiled gently, "that even in the darkest stone tower there is always hope." Soon after, Rapunzel sent royal messengers to locate her birth parents in the distant valley. When the older couple arrived at the castle, they recognized their daughter instantly by her bright eyes and kind, warm smile. At last, the family was entirely complete. The circle that had been broken by dark magic was perfectly, joyfully mended. As for the wicked witch, she was never seen within the borders of the beautiful kingdom again. Many believed she simply vanished into the shadows, entirely consumed by her own deep greed. Rapunzel and her prince ruled the land for decades with exceptional wisdom, grace, and abundant kindness. They taught their children to be brave and to always sing their own special songs. And every single year they planted green rampion in the vast castle gardens, not to eat with greed, but to honor the humble beginnings of their long, hard journey. The lonely stone tower remained standing in the deep woods, serving as a silent memory. But it was no longer a terrifying prison, for the beautiful golden bird had finally flown free. Though Rapunzel's hair never grew to its magical length again, she did not mind in the slightest. She had found something infinitely stronger than magic. She had found her family, her freedom, and her one true love. And so the beautiful queen and her noble king lived in absolute contentment and joy for all of their many wonderful days.